we spend so much time growing these businesses, finding out these little small breakthroughs that allow us to make a living and build wealth online. And nobody around us cares. And I guarantee you, there are tons of people in the DC who care about those things that you figured out in your business. Okay, you're receiving this podcast because you clicked on a yes in an email that says you want to know more about the DC community. And it's been a really long time since we've done something like this. So I thought I'd bring a few team members onto the call and answer some of the most common questions we receive. I appreciate you listening to this. And as a thank you, if you have a question that we haven't gotten to, just hit reply on the email. So thanks for listening. Let's get started. So I want to introduce some team members. Just let us know who you are and what you do at the DC.
I'm Priscilla McClure. I'm actually the newest DC member, and I'm on the marketing side.
Hi, I'm Alex. I work in operations.
So the idea here is you guys are listing off the most common questions we get about the DC, and I'm just going to answer them the best I can from what I know.
So, Dan, how do I know if the Dynamite Circle is for me?
Sounds like a fake question, but it's actually the most common question we get, which is asked in a million different ways, right? You know, there's a lot of communities out there to join. What's unique about the DC? So for me, it's basically three things. And if these three things apply to you, then it's possibly a very good fit. So the first is vetted and legit, that you have a laptop and some team members, and somehow that combination of things and a website makes you money. You are a verified online business owner. That's critical. Number two, you are a global citizen. This is like an upmarket term for digital nomad. Actually, the majority of our members aren't digital nomads. 22% are currently digital nomads, but the vast majority of us spend a great deal of time away from our home location every year, whether that's to spend the summers in Europe like Ian and myself do. A lot of our members take long vacations. They work abroad. They visit family members. They do all sorts of things with the location flexibility that their business has afforded them. So travel is a passion that connects the entire membership. The third thing is that we're a little bit weird. Well, I'll speak for myself. You probably are a member of community, whether it's your family, school, trade association, church, whatever. But when you go to work and you sit in a home office or a cafe and money's popping out of you from a PayPal account or a Stripe account, and other people don't understand what that's all about, and you don't have anybody to talk with about it, that can feel isolating. And so really the DC is strangely like a comfortable space to be like, yo, we're making money in online business and that's what we do. And I think people that took that risk to choose that career path often are unique. It's not just like you followed all the rules the whole time. You took a big risk and you did something that's different than the people around you. And so maybe we identify with that term weird a little bit. And there's also this generous vibe across the community where we're here primarily to help each other. You know, building a business is challenging enough. The community is designed to be easy, to commiserate with each other, to get to know other people that are facing the same sorts of challenges that we are.
I think DCers are just as passionate about their hobbies and their interests as they are about business.
Yeah, I think actually there's a roundedness to the average DC founder that's not true in all communities. Your entire self-worth isn't defined by your business. The business is something you happen to be doing because you're passionate about it. You want to build wealth, but you also want that time and location flexibility. So there is that lifestyle business portion. It's like, well, I also want to create space in my life, so this business better be successful.
So we've spoken a lot about who the DC is for. Can you tell us who it's not for? Because we do have a pretty extensive vetting process, and that's an important part of the reason that our members trust us and want to be in this community.
The first thing is we're looking for an intention to be community first. If it's like of direct business value to join the DC in order to use it as a top of funnel, we're really going to be looking twice at businesses like that and making sure that you're going to come in and follow the vibe of the community, which is to connect with other people organically and to not put your business first, but to put the community first. In terms of business models, someone asked me the other day, like I run a consumer app and my big concern is like ROAS and stuff. Really probably not the best community for that. We're much more e-com, SaaS, services, online publishing, creators, these sorts of business models, especially B2B, form the core of the DC community. Now, we do have business models that are outside of that, but just know that coming into it, you're not going to be in the majority. I would say solopreneurs and folks who are consultants or coaches, not a great fit.
Conversations have up-leveled a lot in the last few years. There's less about how to start and more of how do I get further along. Now, when someone joins, what do they get out of the community?
Well, the first thing you're going to get is a welcome email from us, letting you know about a lot of different things you can do inside the community. Probably members say the best thing about the DC is our events. Our team puts on 5 events a year, the big ones being in Mexico and Bangkok. So if you can make it to those, it's really like a cheat code to get the most out of the community. But aside from that, we have a very active forum with hundreds of users logging on every week. Many hundreds of users using our WhatsApp groups every week. So you can get answers to questions. You can talk about particular cities, business practices, strategies, tactics on a daily basis. We've got a member map. We've got an AI matching tool where you can put in people with particular types of interests. It'll return members that would be an interesting fit to you. Those are some of the benefits. All right, you tell me, Alex.
I love those are the main core features. We have some new exciting features. One of them is the coffee calls. Essentially, it's a virtual mixer or virtual meet and greet. And so once a month, you can hop on to this virtual call and you'll instantly be connected with other members. So even though we say, please fly to Mexico, please fly to Bangkok, it is your cheat code to get the most out of the community. If you can't do that because of whatever reasons, definitely join a coffee call and as many as you can because you will instantly meet other members, have quick conversations with them, and start making connections. That is the main goal after you join the community. What do you get? It's meaningful connections.
Coffee call is interesting because how many people with mid-6 and 7-figure businesses can you call right now and they'll pick up the phone? And if you join the DC and start interacting with people within a matter of a few months, that number is going to double.
So as a team, we've been talking a lot about connections and how to foster the best connections with our members. What would you say is the ROI on connections? What do members get out of the connections in this community?
I brought this up to Vern Harnish a few weeks ago and he said, what's the ROI on a friend? I feel awkward saying it because it sounds presumptuous, like join and you're going to get friends. It's not going to happen for everybody. But that is the promise of groups like this. And that is the result for thousands of us over the years in the DC is that you will get lifelong friends or friends that are passionate about the same issue that you are at the right time, at the right moment in your life. People who are nerding out on how do I click over from $80,000 a month to $90,000 a month? And what do I need to do to get to that next million in revenue? And why isn't my marketing campaign working? And how do I hire a fractional CFO? And you name your nerdy business challenge out of the 1,300 members we have right now, there is somebody else out there that has the same exact problem right now. So how do you ROI that? I don't know, but you're going to have to do your own calc. I mean, it's part of the reason why we vet people on the front end, which is to say, when you connect people with platforms, that kind of networking has a unique value to it because when you say an idea or you make a connection between two people that are running successful businesses, they'll very often do something about it, or someone on their team or one of their customers are going to do something about it, and you're going to see results. And those are exciting relationships to foster. So it's tough to put an ROI number to these things.
Dan, what are some tips to get started? How do I end up having my own DC story?
The cheat code is book an event, but there's a lot of other stuff you can do. So the first is just get involved in the forum and make an intro post and take a look at previous intro posts and see how people introduce themselves and what they can offer the community. If that's too intimidating, we got an easier option. Just join one of our WhatsApp groups where you can just interact with members, chatting about their city, chatting about your city, chatting about topics they're interested in. You can also just take a look at who's around and what they're working on. We have an AI matching tool. You can search in the forum for popular threads and get involved and offer to help people or respond with your ideas and thoughts. The DC is a place where things start to happen pretty quickly when you start to interact with people because people are interested, they're moving on topics. And, we're all united by this idea of we want to build better businesses.
What would you say to somebody who is not so event oriented? Or maybe they're like, okay, this sounds great, but I'm kind of shy. I'm kind of nervous about meeting people in an in-person setting. What would you say to that kind of person who's interested in joining?
DC events are like events for people who don't like events. It's a bunch of people who hate events getting together to have a great one. But if you genuinely can't make it to an event this year, I know a bunch of members who subscribe to the DC. They love forums, and we have a old school long form forum where there's a bunch of interesting business information, but also you can reach out one-on-one. A DM goes a long way. Hey, I checked out what you were doing. It's really interesting to me. Why don't we jump on a call and talk about it? We spend so much time growing these businesses, finding out these little small breakthroughs that allow us to make a living and build wealth online. And nobody around us cares. And I guarantee you, there are tons of people in the DC who care about those things that you figured out in your business. And there is that kind of transparent sharing. And it happens at all levels of business. Sometimes, for example, those who run 7 and 8 figure businesses have these big mindset lessons, strategy, team management type of ideas. They really value someone who just figured out a new marketing channel. Those tactics can really benefit the larger businesses, help the newer businesses.
And apart from the big events, we also have the smaller local meetups. So finding other DCers in your area is really easy, especially given the fact that we have members in over 230 cities worldwide, last I checked, which is just bananas to me. Unfortunately, we don't have any in Kingston, Jamaica just yet, where I'm at, but we're working on it. I guess I'm DCer number 1.
That's all it takes is one. There's hundreds of meetups of DCers every year happening ad hoc, happening through chapter events, happening through DCX events. DCX events are just member-hosted events that happen in cities all across the world. So yeah, there are DCers meeting in a city near you, almost guaranteed.
All right. So what are the events like?
Our events are designed to be a ton of fun. That's the first thing. It should be fun. They're designed to have as many interesting conversations as possible. And maybe the number one word I hear is it's inspiring and empowering. You come in with your guard down, willing to commiserate. We do that through masterminds, through meetups about particular topics. We're really like laying our challenges on the table. And then when you get out of there, you're inspired because a lot of people have offered solutions to you. I think one thing that's unique is it's our members sharing with each other. So it's not like we're bringing in some gurus or big teachers or whatever. It is all member-led. DCers are sharing with each other directly from their business. They're showing the numbers. They're opening up the hood and saying, this is what happened in my business. So that's the vibe at our events. It's like, hey, what are you struggling with right now? How can I help you? That's the DC vibe. And so we're really looking for members that resonates with. A lot of conferences are about what you can learn, what I can get out of this, who I can meet, how I can climb the social pecking order, how I can impress other people and get more business. There's a time and place for all those things, but our primary value is about meeting and building real relationships with others in the same boat. And I think that starts with being real with other people. Of course, we learn. Of course, we do business with each other, but that primary value is about connecting with each other.
Could you walk us through what DC Black is? What's the difference between DC Black and regular Dynamite Circle? Who is DC Black for? And why should people be interested in joining DC Black right now?
DC Black is simply a tier within the community reserved for 7 and 8 figure businesses. And what it unlocks for you is the ability to go to a facilitated mastermind. You can, of course, join a mastermind in normal DC, but it's all DIY. in DC Black, we have pretty baller facilitators, like people that have done serious stuff with their careers. They're looking to give back. These are paid facilitators doing monthly masterminds. We also have a private WhatsApp group, and we have 3 premium events annually specifically for DC Black members. And if you go to a standard DC event, there's special programming for DC Black members. But the punchline is it's still part of the DC, but it is a space that's reserved for businesses at scale. And those conversations are different. The motivation behind doing this is we wanted a place to retain our top performing members. So it would often be the case that a member would come in with a $500,000 business, they'd blow up and they'd go join a fancy community. And we wanted to retain our talented members. And so we started throwing events in Barcelona, in New York City, and now we're hosting an event in Phuket. So we're creating a DC vibe at this higher scale. We have over 100 members now, and the founders are fantastic. And they continue to contribute back to the core community. So it's been a really cool initiative for us.
I just want to highlight that Asia event because that's something members have really been looking forward to. And it's a brand new event next year in Q1. So for anyone who's on the Eastern side of the world and they're trying to go to an in-person event, but most stuff is happening in North America or Europe, this is for you. Your time to join is now. Asia event is March, first week of March. So you can join us there.
Yeah, one final thing, if you're listening to this, we haven't changed the price of the DC for ages. It's been $500 a year for as long as I can remember. We're raising the price to $700 a year next year. And so if you've been thinking about joining the community, now's a great time to join. Of course, if any part of our promise was not met, if you're unsatisfied with your experience, we have a really chill, hey, thanks for trying us out, money back guarantee. All right, if you got this far and the DC sounds interesting, we'd love to have you. You can head on over to dynamitecircle.com. The application button is right there on the main page. If you run a 7 or 8 figure business and are curious about DC Black, just head on over to that in the navigation at the top of the website. We'd love to hear from you. If you listen to this and you still have a question that we haven't answered, hit reply to the email in which you received this. I will read that reply and we'll get back to you with the answer you're seeking. Thank you for listening to this pod. Thanks, Priscilla and Alex, for joining me. And we wish you a strong close to Q4. We hope you'll join us in the DC next year.